We have a very young writer on this podcast today, and his name is Jordan Castro. And he has been receiving a lot of attention for his new novel, Only a Second, called Muscle Man. He is 32, though soon, I think later this month, to be 33. And it's interesting because no one, and especially not a young, white, straight male, has been getting this kind of national attention lately in websites and podcasts and appearances. Unless I haven't looked closely enough, I can't think of another very young writer who is being covered in quite this way. I read his first novel called The Novelist when it came out in 2023. It's 200 pages that takes place over the course of a single morning, where a young writer, very much like Jordan Castro himself, I'm supposing, tries to write an autobiographical novel with various digressions about the internet and social media, the literary establishment, addiction, and bowel movements. And Castro manages to make this funny, scatological, and somehow riveting, part millennial rant, part sincere exploration, part literary high-wire act. It works. For a first novel, it was widely reviewed and talked about, and it put Castro, who had only published 2 volumes of poetry, on the map in ways that felt new, a rebuke to the idea that no one pays attention to young white male writers. His new novel, just published last month, is called Muscle Man. And this is a slightly more traditional novel, though like The Novelist, it takes place over the course of an afternoon about a literature professor at a liberal arts college. It charts his fears, his obsessions, the students, his colleagues, and then it moves to a gym where Harold, the protagonist, goes for his daily workout, hence the title Muscle Man. The writing is careful, deliberate, it's very readable, and beneath the satire of university life, it's a sincere and suspenseful novel whose minute-by-minute minutiae builds into something sinister and reveals the crushing loneliness of this man and the traps of our contemporary moment and turns it into something universally human. It's a short and compact novel, and it's getting the kind of attention, as I said, that I didn't really think a lot of books by a certain kind of author received anymore. Maybe that dour decade of wokeness and political correctness and identity politics that became endemic in the publishing world is starting to recede, and we might see more writers like Jordan Castro emerging out of publishing's dank cave, or maybe not, I don't know. But it's heartening to see a young writer with not only the literary chops, but the ambition that used to be not exactly more commonplace, but certainly more visible. Jordan, does anything I just said resonate with you? I mean, again, you are half my age. You started in publishing at a very young age, as did I, in a very different era. But is there any overlap in terms of how we experience writing?